This is Samir, a farmer in Pabal, Maharashtra, about an hour's away from the nearest town. Look around you. This is about an acre where we are sitting. He's cutting 4 acres of sugarcane from his farm by hand. He lives a mile down the street with his wife and 2 kids, and the functioning power lines are a further mile down the street from there. You must be wondering, 4 acres where you have to bend down and cut. I'm sure he has power tools, power being the critical word here. When we have loss of power, we start to have anxiety. What happens to the food in the fridge? What happens to our phone that is on the last 1%? We have anxiety set in. But when it comes back, we suddenly start plugging in all our devices, get it back charged again. We don't know if it'll be going in and out. That's the same for Samir as well. When the power does come back, he starts to overwater crops. He starts to harvest even though the product is not ready. All this means higher bills, sugarcane that is not ripe yet. This is not just a case of Samir. This is a case of 733 million people globally today. Farmers, rural communities that don't have access to power. Their livelihoods, their farming, all at risk. That got me thinking. These are the same people that are responsible for putting food on our plate. And all they're asking for is a basic necessity. How do I solve for the powerless? That was a question we started to go down on. And these aren't people that are looking for a handout. They're looking for a build-out. When they have access to reliable power, it moves them from sustenance into empowerment. As we spend time with multiple farmers around the world, we start to realize one main thing. People move. Their need isn't just at home. It's also at the farm. Or in this case, like this delicious sugarcane juice on the side of the streets. People move, power needs to move as well. So with the latest and greatest technology that we have around us, my team and I started to think of ideas. What can we do? How do we start building using solar panels and the batteries? And what we very quickly realized is what works in urban, the trickle down into rural does not work. We have to think about rural as being a leapfrog ahead, a solution by itself. We started to look at what can we build locally? What can we build that is easily repairable? Like I mentioned, Pabal is an hour away from the nearest town. Trying to repair anything means he has to get a vehicle, put the tools in the back, drive an hour, do that process all over again. And most importantly, it has to be simple. Like the light you see on the top being charged right now. In the evening, they'll bring it back in. It has to be that simple. So what my team and I did, we built them their own power plant. A solar and battery power plant that can be moved to where the needs are. A mobile microgrid. This is usually where generators would come in. But because now they have access to renewable energy, they're not spending that much gasoline, they're not having that much carbon go into the atmosphere as well. Altogether, it's helping them and the environment. When we start to think about, well, solar is a technology today, but what about tomorrow? Well, how do we harness the power of wind for areas that are mountainous, hilly? Or if you're next to a river, how do you utilize the power of the river flow? How do we build them this energy device? But we didn't just stop at the hardware. That insecurity was still in my mind. How do we help farmers get over the insecurity? We've all heard the terms business intelligence, artificial intelligence. But again, this is rural, this is not urban. We had to go to a new term. And I know you're already scratching your head. What new term do I have to think of? Farmer intelligence. How do we help the farmer make better decisions on their harvest, their irrigation? So we built a device that helps them on their phone be able to see how much power is being generated, how much is being stored, how can they use it tomorrow or the day after, helping them get intelligence. And as we went out, my team and I, as you can see, we went out and showcased this to farmers. Understand, what will you use this for when you have access for 25 years of free energy? These farmers instantly irrigation, water purification, pulp extraction, drying chilies. There are so many cases of utilization that it's not just Samir, but it is over a $600 billion opportunity of untapped rural potential. And this is, mind you, just India that we are deployed in. Now imagine the remaining 733 million. And that's what we have built, a solution that Samir now has access to that can power his farm, his home, his local school, his livelihood. We have solved the problem for Samir, but we still have 732,999,999 more to go. Thank you very much. I'm Nikunj Jain.